Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club, and we got a special guest on the line right now. We have Miss Angela Rye. Good morning, Miss Rye.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are y'all?
Eddie Rye daughter, how you feeling this morning?
I feel good.
Lot to talk about this morning. Let's jump right in it. Over the weekend, Biden decided he was going to tap out.
Finally. But you know what made me laugh, though? I saw you jump out the window. I didn't even see the original video. I just saw your correction video. And I'm like, but I already knew what it was about because you had already said this to me before. But you said you thought that Biden stepped down, and well, I'll let you explain it. Biden stepped down. You had some words. You took the post down. What were you upset about initially?
So, as you all know, yesterday, Joe Biden issued a letter that he didn't even tell a lot of folks on his campaign about. Mm-hmm. He said that he was going to not drop out as the president right now, but drop out of the campaign. And in that letter, there was only a mention of Vice President Kamala Harris as doing a great job. And he's been proud to have her as his partner for the last 4 years. So I'm like, where's the second page? Where's the second page? And so I'm like, yo, I have already told these people, they've been talking about it all week, that he may not endorse Kamala Harris. That's unacceptable to me. This person is on your ticket. It says Biden Harris everywhere. So I went off. I was like, what are you doing? What are we talking about, friend? Like, we're going to have some real problems if you don't throw your support behind a person who has stood lockstep with you in moments where she shouldn't have, including the debate night, which is where this snowball all began.
And then 3 minutes later.
3 minutes later.
Exactly. But the thing is, I heard that people flipping out and going off like that actually helped. Why wasn't it in the initial letter? They said that they wanted it to come from the campaign officially, but why did you just put it on Twitter, my friend? Like the tweet don't necessarily go as viral as the letter of your initial announcement. So I think it was bad strategy. And sometimes that is the casualty of not getting your whole team involved and ensuring that people advise you on the flat sides of your strategy.
I disagree. I think it was good strategy because I felt like both of them deserved their own different announcements. And they both worked, right? Because he announced and then everybody was like, oh my God, Biden dropped out. And then, you know, maybe 30 minutes, an hour later, hey, and now he endorses Kamala. So I felt like they owned the news cycle by doing that. That's what I think.
Now, Ms. Rye,
I can appreciate that.
Now, Ms. Rye, let's jump right into it. I know you don't got much time. Why do you think Biden finally decided to tap out? Because, you know, Friday, his team was like, he is not tapping out. He's going to see this all the way through. What do you think was the changing factor?
You know, I don't know if there was just one. I think that this has been a circumstance of several terrible events. The first was the debate. Then they tried to clean up the debate with an interview, also a disaster. Then they tried to have conversations to get everybody to believe that everything was still going to be fine, also a disaster. And when you have, I think one of the most important things, there are not just voters in our democracy, the way this democracy is set up, it has to be largely funded. And so when donors start calling and saying, yo, if you step aside, you're not catching no more checks, that's a different problem, right? And I think that's the thing that we have to understand. If donors stop writing checks in a contested election that will be as close as this one, or was going to be as close as this one with Joe Biden and Donald Trump, if you can't fund it, you're in real big trouble.
And the polls too, right? Because, I mean, there was like all of the polls showing that he can't win in the battleground states. Because they were saying that on Friday night or Saturday night, he sat down with some of his team and they showed him like, yo, there's no path to victory for you.
Yeah, I think that polling is as good as when it's done. And we are still over 100 days away from the election. So even though I've definitely seen the polls, I think, one, we joke about this on the podcast, as you know, Leonard, a lot. On Native Land Pod, we always like, we're the unofficial pollsters because Black folks never get polled. Yeah. And so we had a bunch of people reach out to us and respond to an unofficial poll that we did, all Black folks, because normally, have y'all ever been polled? I've never been polled.
No.
Pause.
So that's the running joke. I don't really put that much stock in polls this far away from the election.
Well, they did in 2020, it did show that he was up by 10 percentage points at this time in 2020. Biden was. So,
yeah, but he's also on the other side of a really disastrous debate. So I think that time could heal all wounds. Something else could happen. You know, there's been an October surprise Generally, every single election cycle, Hillary Clinton had one. His name was James Comey, and he ruined that thing, right? So I think that things could happen all the time that change the outcome.
Why you say it like that? You sound like October girl for a second. He ruined that thing. Listen.
Well, we're speaking to Angela Rao right now. She's on the phone line.
I got one more question before we go to the calls. What do you think the messaging is to the people? Because there are a lot of people looking at this and saying, so damn, it took the donors for you to drop out when 70% of all Americans said we didn't want a Biden-Trump rematch to begin with. Like, why did it take donors? Why you weren't listening to the people?
You know, I think it's a fair question, and it's one that every single elected official, everybody that's campaigning needs to take stock in. You have to understand that it's not just the big donors. Kamala raised over $40 million yesterday with small donors, right? So you have to think about the fact that we all have a voice. Every single dollar counts. That means something, and so does every single vote. So they should be listening to what voters are saying, I think, more than they listen to donors. The worst thing to me in my political experience is when a donor's like, they go like, okay, I'm gonna write you this check, but let me tell you what you need to do about messaging. Let me tell you what you need to do about surrogate. You know, you need to get, like, why was your voice in your opinion better? Like, your job and where you're strong is writing a check. It's not probably in political strategy.
Now, two quick questions before we go to the phone lines. One, Kamala Harris, what needs to happen for her to actually, because right now she is not running right now, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of people reporting yesterday, a lot of dumbass outlets saying that Kamala was the Democratic nominee already.
But she's not as of yet. So what needs to happen for her to be the nominee? And who do you think she should pick as a running mate if she is the nominee?
Yeah, so in order for her to secure the nomination, as you all know, the Democratic convention is just a couple weeks away. She will have to get all of those pledged delegates. The 50 state party chairs have all officially endorsed her yesterday, labor unions, several elected officials, most of the Congressional Black Caucus. So she has a lot of folks lining up that would demonstrate that she can get that. The other thing that we were just talking about that's really important here is the dollars. She's demonstrated, like, less than 24 hours, people were excited, probably in a 12-hour period. 47 million?
46.7 million.
Wow.
Yes, sorry, I said 47. I rounded up. It might be at 47 now. But the point is, she's secured the dollars. She's secured the support, and now she has to secure the delegates officially in a convention process. A lot of the people who folks said were going to challenge her have now endorsed, so I think that makes it tough. I want to know who else is on the bench. I don't know that she's going to get another challenger. Maybe Joe Manchin. We don't fool with Joe Manchin like that. We know better.
Now, you did say everybody endorsed, but people are saying Barack Obama hasn't endorsed.
Barack Obama hasn't, Nancy Pelosi hasn't, Chuck Schumer hasn't, Hakeem Jeffries hasn't.
Well, Barack Obama, of course, is the biggest one that he just named. So Bill Clinton endorsed. A lot of people endorsed, but people are surprised Barack hasn't endorsed. What's your thoughts?
Are Nancy and Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, especially being Hakeem is black.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so is Barack Obama. Barack Obama is also black.
Half.
I think.
Stop it. He's black. But go ahead.
God, Jesus, Leonard, not this morning, okay? It's still the one drop rule in
Kendrick Lamar told us we don't want to hear Barack say nigga no more.
No. That was Drake. It's very different.
Drake is right. Don't let him get you off.
That another time.
Don't let him get you off.
That another time. No light skin battling today. Let's all stay together. So here we go. So I think initially I'm still not that happy with Barack Obama, because when he needed Kamala to campaign for him, she was right there. And I feel like he was trying to be in this role of like, let's let this process play out. And it's like, no, bro, she's on the ticket. If she's on the ticket, all of his pledged delegates now go to Kamala Harris. That's the same thing that happened in the contested convention in 1968 with Lyndon B. Johnson dropping out after RFK challenged him. And so the thing that happens is all of LBJ's delegated delegates go to or went to Hubert Humphreys, right? Still a contested convention, all of that. RFK, when he was assassinated, his delegates were split between the other two candidates. These things happen. And at the end of the day, Kamala said, she's still playing ball. She said, I intend to secure and win the nomination. That's what has to happen at the convention. I think the other folks in Democratic leadership, which, by the way, Nancy Pelosi is not anymore, but she likes to play that role, is demonstrating that they want to see the process play out, and that's how they think that leadership looks. I was told by someone pretty senior in leadership that they expect for Kamala Harris to secure all of the support within the next 48 to 72 hours. And I think you'll see those folks fall in line slightly behind that.
I agree. I don't want to hear nothing from, former President Obama them about, a process or an open primary because y'all didn't care about primaries a year ago when people were calling for them against Biden. So don't start caring about primaries now.
Well.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. I actually, like I said, I was really frustrated with President Obama. We've talked about this before, but when I was the executive director of the Congressional Black Caucus, anytime we were on the other side of President Obama, it was a real frustrating moment. Because
what side? The white side?
You stop it.
What? I'm sorry?
What side? What side of Obama? The white side?
Leonard, I can't even concentrate with you on this nonsense. Let me tell you what I'm telling you is we had a lot of issues with the the Obama administration. And it was really frustrating when folks didn't see that we were trying to represent the best interest of Black folks. And when we clashed with that administration, folks dragged us. We used to get hate mail, death threats, for being on the other side of President Obama. But sometimes he's on the wrong side of history. And I think yesterday was one of them.
I agree.
Well, let's go to the phone lines. Angela Rye is on the lines right now. She's answering all your questions, political, whatever question you have, something you might not understand, she'll break it down for you. 800-585-1051 is the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We have Angela Rye on the line this morning. She's helping us out with breaking down everything. A lot went on over the weekend, of course. Joe Biden tapped out. And there's a lot to talk about. And we have Leroy on the line. Leroy, good morning, Leroy.
Leroy, I know Leroy Black.
He Black.
Good day, Harry B.
What's up, Leroy? What's your last name, Jackson or Johnson?
Damn.
Washington.
Oh, my God. That's right. That's the third one.
You were close, Leroy. What's your question for Ms. Rye?
My question to Angela is, I know the delegates going to be behind Ms. Harris. Is the Republicans, the few Democrats that are left, are they going to support her? Because, of course, in 2008, they didn't give Barack a chance. Well, they did, but they came reluctantly. So hopefully they'll be behind her straightforward out the bat. The purse flow is going pretty well so far. So let's see, can that continue?
So what's your question?
I guess
what's
the
your
question is, will
brother?
the Democrats fall in line? Is that your question?
Pretty much the main Democrats, yes, the ones that
Well, the main Democrats fall in line. You kind of answered that a little while ago, but will the main Democrats fall in line, Angela, right? And Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Barack Obama, those people.
Yeah, I think these are the people that will be supportive. They're waiting to see if anybody throws their hat in the ring. Again, most of the people who would be her biggest competitors endorsed yesterday. And I think that some of these other folks are very much controlled by the donor class. And so they will be supportive if the donors are supportive. And I think that what we're starting to see is that they will be. Even the Wall Street folks on Wall Street, Democrats are like, cool, we can roll with this one.
Now, Star is on the line. Star, good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Good.
Peace, Star.
What's your question for Angela Rye?
I have a question. Hi, Angela. Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a question. Am I correct to assume that there is a Democratic and a Republican nominee for each of the 50 states?
Huh?
When you're saying a Republican and a Democratic nominee for each of the 50
As
states.
far as in Congress, like the congressman, isn't it a Republican congressman and a Democrat? Like I live in Tennessee.
Okay.
And I know that we're a red state, but we have a Democratic person here, congressman here, right?
Oh, are you in Memphis?
Yes.
Yes. So you do have a Democratic representative, and how it works is members of Congress have about a little over 700,000 people they represent in each state. And that's why you could have almost 50 districts in California. You can have 5 in a southern rural state because there aren't as many people. So that's how they apportion members of Congress who are on the House side. And then there's another chamber, the Senate, and the Senate has 100 senators, right? So everyone doesn't have necessarily Democratic and Republican representation. It depends on the makeup of the voters in the state. Star, are you a registered voter?
I am.
Okay.
I am. I was asking another question. Would it be smart if she decides to run? Because I just woke up, y'all, and y'all are hour ahead. So would it be smart for her person that she's running with to be a Democratic person from a Republican state?
Oh, I see. That's a great question, Star. Come on, you ready to be a political strategist this morning?
Thank you, Star.
You know, that's
I am
definitely
not.
that's on the table. There's a governor by the name of Roy Cooper,
North Carolina,
who Kamala Harris served as a state attorney general with, and he's from North Carolina. There's another one named Andy Beshear, who's a governor in Kentucky, also a red state. He's being considered. And then there's a state that goes back and forth, Arizona, like a lot of our states go back and forth. Mark Kelly, who's a sitting senator and is the husband of Gabby Giffords, who was a member of Congress and all-star. And she was shot in the face, actually, while I was still with the Congressional Black Caucus. And she's been a major champion for gun violence. And given everything that's happened in this country, they think that Mark Kelly would be a good contender as well.
Yeah, those are the top.
So one thing's for sure, they've been saying Kamala and a white person.
Yeah, it's got to be a white man.
I think that's where we are in this country right now.
Those are the top names. And, of course, Governor Josh Shapiro. What do you think about the possibility of Gretchen Whitmer they've been saying? You think an all-woman ticket would be a smart move right now?
Well, I can tell you what I would aspire to see. Sure, I think an all-woman ticket would be great. I think especially given all the battles of reproductive justice that we're seeing on the line right now. Mm-hmm. I'd be surprised. I have heard they don't rock with each other like that, but let's see what happens. And then with Governor Shapiro, as you guys know, I got to sit in on the interview with you all with Governor Shapiro, and I thought he was fantastic. I didn't really know him that well. And of course, Pennsylvania is always a state that is battleground, one where they pour a lot of resources into. And so having Governor Shapiro on the state, also who worked with Kamala as a state's attorney general, would be great.
I think Mark Kelly will look good optics wise because he looks MAGA white.
You know, the only thing about Mark Kelly
Amara.
What, the only thing about Mark Kelly, what?
Mark Kelly is kind of boring. And I think that we learned that lesson with Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine. Like, did you even remember Tim Kaine was on the ticket?
I did not.
Man, I forgot about Tim
I forgot
Kaine.
all about Tim Kaine.
So that's the thing. Do you want that again? I don't know if I want that. So Mark Kelly, and also he's a senator, which is where Kamala just came out of. I don't know. I think I would like to see a governor.
Well, we're still kicking it with Angela Rye.
Hello?
Nari.
Yes.
Hey,
yes.
Good morning.
Hi. Good morning.
What's your question for Miss Angela Rye?
I just want to say that I feel like it was a big mistake for everybody, including you, Charlamagne. To be coming out, bashing Biden, calling Biden trash, telling him he needs to step down. All of these top Democrats coming out. Obama came out, from what I heard, putting all this pressure on him to step down. We picked him to be the nominee. I felt like it was, like Roland Martin had pointed out, very self-destructive to the Democratic Party.
I totally disagree. That wasn't self-destructive. That was a bunch of people who had sense, who simply wanted to win. And you have to ask yourself, if there's a threat to democracy like Donald Trump on the other side, don't you want to run the best possible candidate to give you the best possible chances of winning?
If people couldn't hear what she said, was she feels like everybody, including Charlamagne and us up here, who added the pressure on Biden, made him step down, that she feels like it was completely inappropriate.
No,
that was her feeling.
People just wanted to win. It's really just that simple. Like, do you want to
Leonard,
win? Yes, ma'am.
I didn't know your name was Angela. Was that question for me or you?
It was for you, Angela.
Well, she called my name, so I ain't gonna just let her just say.
Oh, she did. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, brother. I didn't hear
that.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on that, Miss Rye?
You know, I think I agree with Leonard. We did a podcast on this, and I kind of went off about it a little bit because I think it's really unfair to tell people that they don't see what they saw.
Right.
You know, it was a huge problem to see his debate performance. It was a huge problem to see, you know, the Lester Holt interview after the fact. I think the best thing that happened on debate night was Kamala Harris defending their record after the debate. And so I just feel like you can't really tell people they're not seeing what they are. You know, initially in 2020, he named the campaign The Battle for the Soul of America. We're in a political war, so you have to be all the way ready. And I think one of the other things that probably happened, sometimes it's just God. Like, you end up getting COVID. Like, after all that, it's looking like you're not strong enough to withstand the pressures that are coming at you. And that's unfortunate. Like, we also don't want to be ageist, you know? But my dad is 82 and kicking. He don't look nothing like Joe Biden.
Yeah, mine either.
Right? So I think that some of those things happen.
The crazy thing is he got COVID on Tuesday, and he's still at the house. Like, I thought the new COVID rules was 3 days. He's still in. It's been about 7 days. But my other question to you is,
Has it been 7 days? Damn,
No, it's usually been 3 days. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. He should have been out by now. It's 3 days now. That's the new
I thought you said
regulation.
Biden was down for 7 days.
I think there were other things that kept him in the house, including this conversation with his family about whether or not he was going to stay in the race. I think it's not just COVID.
And he probably staying in the house because they shooting. Okay, they just shot last week.
You mean
I would have got low for a week too. I would have. I would have. I think that's a smart thing to do. A week after your political opponent gets shot at, I would keep the president away for a little while too.
We ain't talk about this shooting, but I'm just gonna hold my peace.
Now, I wanted to ask you before we take some more calls. You know, do we blame this on his team? And the reason I say that is his team is with him 24/7. They prepared for the debate. They know what he is. They know how he speaks. They know how he talks. And if he wasn't fit, and they knew that he couldn't do a good job on that debate, why would they still put him up there to look like that?
That is a great question. It's $1 million question. As far as I'm concerned, every single one of them people should have been fired.
I agree.
Every single one of them. Like, how dare you do that? You need to know your candidate. And if you're not in a position to have the conversation with the candidate, to be honest with the candidate, whether it's because you're afraid, whether it's because you think you need the ratings, whatever it is, like, you need to be able to be honest with the principal. If you can't be, that's a whole other issue. So I take it with every single one of those folks who are in this alleged inner circle who've been advising him because it keeps them in power. You got to check your own power sometimes.
And he was calling for the debate. And I'll tell you one thing. I guarantee you one thing.
Make my day, pal, he said. Yep. Make my day.
I guarantee you one thing that you will not see.
But
I guarantee you won't ever see Kamala Harris and Donald Trump debate. I guarantee you Donald Trump will not take that stage with Kamala Harris.
I want to see this so badly.
Donald Trump ain't going to do it.
He's not going to do it.
He's not going to do it.
Let me ask you guys this. Do you guys think he was trying to call her bluff when he posted yesterday that he would debate her on Fox News?
But even still, she should go. How long have I been saying Kamala Harris should go on Fox News?
You're trying to fight me. Listen to what I said. I said, do you think he was calling her bluff when he said he wanted to move the debate to Fox News?
Probably because that's something that he thinks she probably would never do.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean. So
I think she should do it too. By the way,
Trump's
I'm
not
not
going to
disagreeing
debate
with you.
Trump is not going to debate her. If Trump's team is smart, he don't want that smoke. That's some smoke he don't want.
And if she doesn't debate him, because I don't think that he will, she should still go on Fox News. Now is the time when she has to go on Fox News and talk to that side of America.
Well, let's take some more calls. We have Brock on line 5. Brock, what's your question for Angela Rye?
My question is, will we protect Kamala wholeheartedly and aggressively against the attacks from Trump and J.D. Vance?
Well, I think the question starts with you. Will you? Right? I know what I'm going to do. I've been a Black woman passed over for a promotion before. I'm protecting her first from the people that are inside the Democratic Party.
Well, I did donate to Act Blue for the first time. I'm supporting her. I donated to Act Blue for the first time last night.
Hey,
I'm here for. I'm here for.
I love that. Well, congrats.
North New Jersey is here for you. Heard Charlamagne come through.
I hear you, Brock. I hear you. I think that's great. Number one on your first campaign donation. I hope that, you will talk to the folks in our community who question her Blackness, who question whether or not she's for the people, and that you were able to stand on some of her own accomplishments from when she was a state attorney general, from when she was a United States senator. And I believe that now that she is no longer number 2 on the ticket, we're going to see a lot more, not just of her personality, but her desires for this country to come to fruition. So I think that that's awesome that you've already shown your support in that way. Keep doing it, because there will be a lot of attacks. And I don't just think it'll be from the Republican side of the aisle.
You just said something, Angela, that I really hope to see, is the real Kamala Harris. Mm-hmm. Over the next 4 months. And I think, like you said, now that she's at the top of the ticket, I think those handcuffs are going to be off. And if they're not off, they need to be. Mm-hmm. Because the only person that's going to win this election in November is the real Kamala Harris.
We got Mike.
I think that's 1,000% right.
We got Mike on the line. Mike, what's your question for Angela Rye?
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, Mike?
Hey, listen. This is the thing that I don't ever hear talked about. If we get wrapped up into politics, right? We pick a team because we always been on that team. Now we got to use our head. Our health is on the line. God first, then our health. I'm going to give you a few notes. Well, I got businesses in Atlanta, and I'm going to give you some things you never heard before. One, when the fish die in the ocean, right, wash up on shore, the whales are beaching themselves, that's COVID. I work with the environmental scientists. They're not telling us this. The Democrats has been infiltrated. And it's so many, within these 3.5 years, we have been told so many lies. Our health, our kids' health is on the line. And we missing that. They lied about it from the vaccine on, from the beginning. So I didn't vote for either side, and I normally would vote Democrat, but I couldn't do either one because Kamala and Biden weren't telling us that COVID was really coming from the water. So
COVID.
You going, oh my God, COVID is.
COVID came from the fish.
Listen, they're poisoning the water, and this is how it was getting to us. So when we was wearing masks, we were supposed to watch consumption. So they're watching, they're sitting back watching the farms be destroyed.
So we need the social distance from fish. So you mean no swimming for the rest of the summer?
When you see those fish, if you don't, you might as well go on that beach and pick those fish up and eat it.
Are you vegan?
You take it. You take it.
Is he vegan?
Say again?
Are you vegan, sir?
Are you vegan?
No, I'm on my way, man. I stopped the fish. I stopped the beef because Bill Gates bought up all our beef. That means
Lord, it's a lot happening. Bill Gates bought the beaches and the fish.
So listen,
thank you, sir. I put them on.
Let me tell you something, my brother. Damn, I really want to know more about the fish.
No, man.
No, Leonard.
We got to wrap this up.
No, you don't.
So, Angela Rye, what do you tell the people out there that's listening right
now?
now?
It's COVID in the car.
Oh,
Stop it.
Envy, you don't want me to answer the fish question?
No, I don't. No.
It's COVID in the white.
No, so what do you tell people
It's
out there that's
COVID
listening right now?
Let me say this. I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to start here. I'm not going to answer the question directly, and I'm going to follow instructions, but I do want to say just this one part about the fish. The water is being poisoned, and it is from a lack of regulations on a lot of corporate entities. And I think that one thing we'll know for sure is on the Democratic side of the aisle with Kamala Harris, climate change will be known as a real thing, and there will be restrictions put on environmental killers so that hopefully the fish can survive. Now, moving right along, what I would tell people is to ensure they understand and study Kamala's real record. Mm-hmm. I think that this is an opportunity for not just the Democratic Party, but the entire country to really hit reset. So really give her a fair opportunity. Look at what she's done, look at what she's promising to do, and then match that against what your own needs are for yourself, the dream that you have for America, the country that you would like to reimagine, and then really make a clear analysis on who you think will best help you reach those goals. It's sad that politically progress is often incremental. We get it in small bits. And so even with that, knowing that there may be incremental change that she may not be able to make sure that America becomes the reality that we all know we desperately deserve and need, we may get a little bit closer. And so that's my plea to everyone, to really try to give her a fair shot. I'm excited about her opportunity. I'm excited about who she picks as her running mate. And I can tell you, I haven't felt this way since 2020, the 2020 election, when she joined the ticket. I was never excited about Joe Biden. I don't think that's a secret to anybody.
And listen, I know this is a sexist country, and I know that it's a country built on patriarchy, but I do want women, especially black women, to believe in themselves in this moment the way that we believe in them. Because, when I hear people say things like, oh, she'll never win, this country didn't vote for Hillary, why would they vote for her? I think we got to stop saying that, because this country did vote for Hillary.
Yeah,
65 million people voted for Hillary, and she beat Donald Trump in the popular vote by 2.9 million votes. She lost because of the Electoral College, and if we're being honest, she didn't campaign the way she should. She didn't hit Pennsylvania the way she probably should have. She didn't touch parts of Michigan the way she probably should have. I think it was Wyoming or Wisconsin. It was 3 states that Wisconsin. Those 3 states really cost her the election. And her campaign even admits they didn't touch those states the way that they should have. So there's a lot of things that went into play with Hillary not becoming president. And I don't think it was just because she was a woman.
All right.
Yeah, I hear that. I want to know who y'all think is going to be the running mate.
Mark Kelly, man, he's MAGA white. I would like Shapiro though. You know,
for
me, my personal take would be Shapiro. I'm gonna tell you another white man I like. I like Tim Ryan. I think Tim Ryan has been.
Tim Ryan is not going to be the running mate friend.
I know, but I'm just throwing the name out there because he's really been supporting Kamala, and he was one of the first people to jump out there and say Joe Biden needs to step down and Kamala needs to be at the top of the ticket. And
he did do that.
And he's very battle tested against J.D. Vance as well in Ohio.
Yeah,
you know.
I hear that. So I think that might be tough. You know, the everybody that runs on the ticket has to be vetted. They have to check for chemistry with the candidates, and I think that's another important piece. Mark Kelly, I like the politics of it. I just think that he might be a little too boring.
Well, Governor Shapiro, then let's go.
All right. Well, Angela Rye, we appreciate you for checking in and breaking all this stuff down for us this morning on this Monday.
And make sure you tune into the Native Land Podcast. Subscribe to the Native Land Podcast on the Reason Choice Media iHeartRadio Podcast Network with Angela Rye, Andrew Gillum, and Tiffany Cross.
All right.
Thank you. Yes, indeed. I appreciate y'all.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.